last word.
Second 2023 edition of your breakfast show on television, Inside Nigeria. I'm your host, Winifred Webo. I have some papers on the menu for review on this first part of our program. We have Nigeria's most influential newspaper leadership, Vanguard, The Guardian, This Day, The Punch, The Daily Sun, and The Nation, all for review on this first segment of the program. As we normally do on the program, we like to flag off with Nigeria's most influential leadership. Leadership says federal government budgets 33 billion naira for presidential yacht, vehicles, computers, orders. Federal government budgets 33 billion naira for presidential yacht, vehicles, computers, orders. And of course, there's an illustration beneath that headline story illustrating, capturing the budget, 33 billion, capturing the 2.177 trillion naira supplementary budget that was sent to the National Assembly. We have 5.095 billion naira for the acquisition of a presidential yacht. We have 200 million naira set aside for the computerization and digitalization of the State House. We have 7.3 billion naira earmarked for, out of which 2.9 billion naira is earmarked for SUV vehicles, another 2.9 billion for replacement of pool vehicles, 1.5 billion for the purchase of official vehicles for the office of the First Lady. We have 5.5 billion naira, and out of that for renovation of the Vice President's official quarters in Lagos, and another 2.5 billion naira for the renovation of Aguda House. We have 8 billion naira earmarked for the renovation of the president's residential quarters in Abuja and Dodam Barracks. That's the leading story on leadership. We have other leading stories on the cover as well. Perform or quit, Tinubu tells ministers. Osun raid, EFCC bans sting operation at night. Senate clears electoral officer smuggled through back door, smuggled in quote. Governor Eno, corporate bodies excited over editors conference. Appease, PDP lawmakers decry conflicting verdicts in Plateau. Appease, PDP lawmakers decry conflicting verdicts in Plateau. The story continues on page 7 of leadership. Of course, yesterday the Court of Appeal affirmed some litigations and also removed some outrightly. And we move to the ones above the masthead. We have Wiki has no hand in state assembly crisis, Rivers elders. Ajero battles to save right eye in Imo hospital. That is, Ajero is the NLC president. Ajero. And just before we leave the cover headline today, we have Leadership Le Vogue, your all colored, all glossy style magazine will be out this Sunday, 5th November 2023. Don't miss it. Grab a copy when you buy Leadership Sunday. Of course, you have a copy of Leadership Le Vogue. It's an insert. With that, we go to the page 3 of Leadership, where we have our stand. Always our stand is the editorial of the paper. Our stand today is on that supplementary budget. That supplementary budget. Don't forget, President Bola Tinubu has sent in 2.1777 trillion naira supplementary budgets. And for more on this editorial, you just have to log into the website of Leadership. From our stand, we go to the back page of the paper, where we have Being Blunt with Muazu Eliza. Muazu Eliza is writing on NAS full-time probes. NAS futile probes. You want to read what the probes have been and what made them futile as you log on to the website of leadership www.leadership.ng. From leadership, the next paper on our menu on this first segment of the program is Vanguard. Vanguard says foreign debt to top $51 billion as Tinubu seeks fresh $7.8 billion, 100 million loans, euro. Although Vanguard has dot on it, I think it's just a mistake. Foreign debt to top $51 billion as Tinubu seeks fresh $7.8 billion and 100 million euro loans. Total public debt to hit 130 trillion naira as World Bank commits over $11 billion in 3 years in Nigeria. Says it's time for country to rise to full potential. Financial experts warn against new borrowing. Federal government now operating in debt trap at Donri. And on Vanguard today we have a big picture of the NLC president, Comrade Joe Ajero, who was arrested in the aftermath of the labor protest in Imo State yesterday. There were reports that he was arrested by the police in the state, and the leadership also has the same story. It says that Ajero battles to save right eye in Imo hospital. Yes, beside that, we have non-performing ministers. Others will be sacked, Tinubu wants. Editors confirm besides Governor Eno, corporate organizations, economy experts. Imo labor protest, one feared dead, many injured, NLC president brutalized. Insecurity, Miyetti Allah vows to fight scourge in Nigeria. And for African Footballer of the Year in sports, talking about sports, we have Morocco World Cup Stars Battle Osimhen. With that, we move over to the stories above the masthead of Vanguard. Forex turnover rises 23% at NAFEM as exchange rate stabilizes. Wage award, 40% salary increase. Federal government dashes hope of workers can't pay MDAs. Wage award, 40% salary increase. Federal government dashes hope of workers can't pay MDAs. Fubara, we stand with Wike, Rivers elders. No one can take away our political structure, Wike. A more legal controversy looms over FBN Holdings rights issue. These are the leading stories on Vanguard today, Thursday, November 2, 2023. For more continuation of these headline stories, more stories inside page, the editorial, which is the commentary and back page, log on to the website of Vanguard, www.vanguardngr.com. And from Vanguard, The Guardian is next. The Guardian is still on the borrowing of this current administration. It says red flag on domestic borrowings as Tinubu considers 30 trillion naira afresh loans. Red flag on domestic borrowings as Tinubu considers 30 trillion naira fresh loans. The story continues on page 6 of The Guardian. Emefiele, prosecute, don't enter into plea bargaining. That's the editorial stand of The Guardian, like on page 12 of the paper. Court restrains Rivers Assembly CJ from impeaching governor. Minister says Rose will gulp 18 trillion naira in 4 years, 6 contingency fund. Endless bickering over no work, no pay rule in varsities is the news analysis on page 4 of The Guardian. Tinubu vows to sack non-performing ministers, seeks approval to borrow $7.86 billion and 100 million euros. And of course, that was the mistake made in Vanguard. NLC president arrested, brutalized in Imo, Lansing hospital. Bricklayer backs life imprisonment for defiling 13-year-old girl. Another governor bows to conscience, shuns ex-governor's monthly pension. These are the headline stories on The Guardian. For more on The Guardian stories, log on to the website www.guardian.ng. From The Guardian these days, next. This day says we must succeed by all means, Tinubu declares. We must succeed by all means, Tinubu declares. 6 National Assemblies nod to borrow $7.8 million, 100 million euros external loans. vows not to spare any resources in bid to turn nation around. Performer be sacked, President tells ministers, advisors. British High Commissioner hails federal government's reforms. World Bank's commitments in Nigeria since 2020 over $11 billion, says country director. And just like every other paper, we have the pictures of NLC President Joe Ajaero brutalized yesterday during the NLC protest in Imo State. And of course, beneath that on the strip, we have Yuriwa to Tinubu DSS. Tell Nigerians why you detained Bauer for months. The story continues on page 6 if you want to get more on that. Yuriwa to Tinubu DSS. Tell Nigerians why you detained Bauer for months. And above that, we have court restrains Rivers Assembly from impeaching Fubara. Police arrest, drag governor supporters to court. Wike wants detractors, says he can't be intimidated. FCT minister, I will do what I want to do, declares impeachment is constitutional, not cool. Ijaw leaders, traditional rulers, groups call for peace. NUPRC summons crude producers, says local refineries must get supply before export. And above the masthead, NLC TUC police trade wars over alleged abduction, brutalization of Ajaero in Imo. Labour threatens nationwide strike. Police, we took him into protective custody. We have no hand in Ajaero's arrest, Imo government declares. NLC president regains freedom, receiving treatment at FMC, that is Federal Medical Center, Owerri. And the story continues on page 10 of this day. So for more headline stories, for continuation, inside stories, and the editorial, log on to the website of This Day, www.thisdaylive.com. And from This Day, The Punch is next on our menu. The Punch says court stops Fubara's remover. PDP governors consult Wike. Court stops Fubara's remover. PDP governors consult Wike. Nobody can intimidate me. Impeachment not a coup, FCT minister insists. Crisis will be resolved, says Fubara. PDP governors plan Port Harcourt meeting. Performer be sacked. Tinubu wants ministers during retreat. Of course, we have a picture of Tinubu, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and some ministers there in the State House yesterday on the Punch. Reds probe 200 billion naira spent on postponed census. My daughter's boyfriend blackmailed her to commit suicide in UK. Father. TAR-seeking gunmen kill 40 in Yobe attacks. Above the masthead, we have crude shortage delays. Dangote refinery, 5 others take off. Crude shortage delays Dangote refinery, 5 others take off. Lack of supply to Dangote, shameful, says federal government. Minister blames low production. Tinubu seeks $7.8 billion, 100 million euro fresh loans. 100 million euro fresh loans. The story continues on page 21 of the Punch. For continuation of these headline stories inside pages, log on to the website of the Punch, www.punchng.com. From Daily Punch, we move over to the next on our menu, Daily Sun. Daily Sun's leading story today: Tinubu threatens to sack ministers. Tinubu threatens to sack ministers. Says non-performing officials will go. Sets up resource delivery unit headed by Hadiza Bala. It's time for Nigeria to rise to its potential, World Bank. Supreme Court resolves Upo, Abagana Lantoso. Appeal Court sacks Suswan from Senate, Moro wins. Affirms Ned Nwoko, orders in Delta, Kogi. Senate approves nomination of 7 INEC resident electoral commissioners. OK's nomination of Shaka Chira as Auditor General for Federation. Imo, police NLC disagree over Ajaero's arrest. Akwa Ibom governor, economy experts, corporate organizations excited about editors conference as NDIC, Customs, UBA, Access Bank, Dangote rally support for confab. PDP demands disbandment of Plateau election appeal panel. Rivers crisis, Fubara under fire as stakeholders back Wike. Ask governor to deny insinuations, allegations against FCT minister. Rivers crisis, Fubara under attack as stakeholders back Wike. Ask governor to deny insinuations, allegations against FCT minister. Nothing wrong with father-son disagreement, Fubara. Reps to probe 200 billion naira expenditure on postponed 2023 census. And the last headline story on the Daily Sun: presidency to spend 28 billion naira on SUVs, renovation of Tinubu's quarters, orders. President seeks Senate approval of 2022 to 2024 external borrowing plan of $7.8 billion and 100 million euro. These are the headline stories on Daily Sun today. For more continuation, log on to the website of Daily Sun, www.sunnynewsonline.com. From Daily Sun, we move over to the last paper on our menu, that is The Nation. The Nation's headline story: perform or get sacked, President warns ministers. Perform or get sacked, President warns ministers. Result delivery unit to periodically assess functionaries' performance. And in quote, you are going to sign a bond of understanding. If you are performing, nothing to fear. If you miss the objective, we review. If there is no performance, you leave us. That is the quote of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We have the picture of the meeting of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu yesterday with some members of House of Representatives. We have Deputy Speaker Benjamin Kalu, Secretary to the Government of the Federation George Akume, Head of Civil Service of the Federation Folashade Yemi Eson, and All Progressives Congress APC National Chairman Abdullahi Ganduje yesterday at the State House. Underneath that, we have stock market 70,000 points, set new record. Nigerian Stock Exchange, a boost for economic stability. Rift with Wike over soon, says Fubara. Minister is not about money. Rivers elders urge caution. 18.6 trillion naira required in 4 years to fix roads, says Umahi. Bayelsa Imo Kogi 2023 elections would hold in 40 polling units. Kogi Central no-go area. Diri Silver camps clash over allegations of violence, thuggery. Re-elect Uzodinma, First Lady urges Imo women. The story is on page 28 of The Nation. Bayelsa Imo Kogi 2023. Above the masthead, Ajero had to protect him, say police. LLC, he was attacked. President seeks lawmakers not to borrow $7 billion, 100 million euros. Dust over rec nominee substitution in Senate. EFCC changes tactics over suspects' passports seizure. These are the headline stories on The Nation today, November 2, 2023. For more on this, log on to the website of The Nation. And with this, we brought the end of the first half to a close. My name is Winifred Webo, and shortly after, we are going to be having the second segment of the show where the guest is already in the studio. Please don't go anywhere. is Inside Nigeria, your breakfast show on Leadership Television. My name is Winifred Bukbebo once again, and with me in the studio is our Thursday guest. He's a political economist and, of course, a public affairs analyst, Olamilekan Adefolari. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's good to have you in the program today.
Thank you.
Very good morning to you. Yes, we have a trending story. Of course, one is gracing the cover of Leadership, Nigeria's most influential newspaper today, Thursday, November 2023. And it's that of the supplementary budget. As you are aware, the federal government, headed by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, submitted a supplementary budget to the National Assembly yesterday. Supplementary budget of 2.177 trillion naira. And out of this amount, federal government budgets 33 billion naira for presidential yacht, vehicles, computers, others, and something that has continued to drop flags from Nigerians. And people are saying that, president is asking everyone to tighten the seatbelt to bear it for a while. Yet the president is not, and his household, they are not doing same. So what is your view on this?
I just like every other Nigerian react to this particular bogus amount for frivolous items, especially the yanch. Many Nigerians are just coming to the reality that presidential bill has a yanch in Lagos.
After the presidential jet,
we also have a yanch. Yes, it has been there for many years, and it's like the current government just see the need to renovate it or to refurbish it as they normally say. Just like they are refurbishing the Dodan Barrack in Lagos, another house. So the current government still need to refurbish it. Maybe if they refurbish it, they may sell it or they want to maintain it. But Nigerians will be looking out for when will the president go on a yacht holiday or whatever, get it. But the thing is that it still boils down to how we can cost down cost of governance in Nigeria. So if we don't see need for all these particular items.
Olamilekan, I begin to wonder, this talk about cutting costs and all whatnot, just curbing excessive governance. Is it that it's just mere rhetoric? Because we've had successive governments coming in and saying that we are going to cut costs. At least during President Muhammadu Buhari, many Nigerians expected so much from him because he was actually well known as a very, very frugal when it comes to resources. But this didn't play out during his 8-year tenure.
And why it won't pay out was that they were cutting costs on the other side. They were cutting costs on capital, but not on emoluments, not on allowances, not something that Nigerians would have expected that they would have done same on things that will not really translate to economic development per se. Now, when you are increasing, you are not cutting costs on allowances of people, on their emolument and the rest of them. It doesn't have any correlation with
because we saw a situation whereby President Muhammadu Buhari even bought budgeted money for a fresh presidential jet and even increased the fleet instead of what he told us before the election campaign that he was going to sell off presidential jet. He actually even added to it.
Exactly.
What happens? Is it that once they get there, they are insulated from the worries, from the cry of Nigerians?
No, I think on this platform we have discussed that one of the things that normally bring this up is the laws or rules and regulations that establish what government will be spending on government officials. That's what is happening. Because if not that they are in the law book on the rules of how we maintain our president, how we maintain our governors, how we maintain all the National Assembly members, if it's not been stated in laws, we won't be spending such money on it. But it has been stated in law.
But even if it's stated in law, can't they just, but we are not going to do that? Even if it's stated in law, but we can't. You can just ignore all those things.
It's also part of the bureaucratic expenditure of the government because there are civil servants and public servants who are in charge of this place, who are working in some of this segment of the economy. You get it? So if government refuses to service that area, what will happen to them? I mean, they can be redundant. You have to lay them up. The people that have been staying in the Dodan Barrack, maintaining the security architecture, cleaners and the rest of them. If it's okay, we are going to take it off. Or the people who are managing the presidential fleet, the pilot that we engage or we employ, and we say we don't need more than just one presidential fleet. Then we have to sack them and take them off.
Now, this presidential yacht, how viable it is now, knowing that president is it going to go on a long trip or what? When the presidential jet
we can even ask, since they bought it, how many presidents are even making use of it? So it's just lying down fallow at the maybe at where they kept it in Lagos, and now this current government want to repair it or refurbish it. But the way Nigerians are speaking on it, it may also bring concern to the government. Okay, when we refurbish it, we just sell it up, because I never heard any president going on any holiday with the Yacht. But on the other aspect is this, as I said earlier, is the law, is the rules on how we take care of these people. It is that rules that they are just trying to maintain. I wish we can expunge those rules from our constitution.
Another thing of concern and worry is this renovation. We keep every 4 years, we keep having money budgeted for renovation of presidential villa. Why is this so?
It's because it's not because the taste of the building. It is as a result of the security features in the building. We must understand that it's clear fact. Now, if a president is coming, the security architecture of that building, including his fingerprint, his eye, is included in that. So when he's going, it has to be disrupted. For a new president to come, like the president office now, he's the only one that have access to it. Okay. No other person can have access to it. The other sensitive rooms or other sensitive halls in that place, they are all has different security features that, as the people who work with this current government are going, they already know the in and out of that security architecture in that office. So as they are going, the new people must have a new architectural knowledge of it, so that to guide against sabotage or element that will come and cause any security breach. And that's why they carried out the refurbishment. But we also know that you don't expect the president house for the next 4 years to be wear glitter with white paint. Then you now come the next 4 years, now see that you are seeing dot here, and that's, is it where our president stay? Even we that are staying, those are the things that they look out for, and they carried out those refurbishments.
Okay, amidst this outcry over the president's budget on his personal maybe emolument, well, so there is a paper, the Guardian captured the fact that the federal government is also going on domestic borrowing. That is amidst the ones left behind by the gone administration. And that's what Vanguard also is with, and the Guardian. It's a foreign debt to top $51 billion as Tinubu seeks fresh $7.8 billion and 100 million euro loans. What is happening?
It's because what the president, he activated the 2022-2024.
And this on the backdrop, but let me lay on that it's just about less than about 6 months now or 7 months that President Buhari and Buhari Tinubu came in, and he has done some quite of borrowing.
Because what he did right now was he reactivated the 2022 to 2024 expanded foreign borrowing plans of the federal government of Nigeria. There was this foreign borrowing plan from 2018 to 2021 as a result of the recession that we had. Then even the PDP, when PDP were in government, they also have that extended framework for borrowing plan they normally did. So when that one, the one that Buhari took over from PDP got exhausted, now initiated his own after the 2016-2017 recession to 2018 to 2021 borrowing plan. Now that one also finished. Now there was 2022 to 2024. So it is that 2022 to 2024 that to continue the borrowing plan. They have all been stated.
Now, the Vanguard says total public debt to hit 130 trillion naira.
Definitely it will get to that amount, but I don't think it may get to that amount, because what the DMO is saying that it will get to about 99 trillion naira. Although the way we can project it more above, because we don't know what will happen after this particular one, because in the borrowing plan there may still be other excesses, and again the calculation that will be put to it could also be include even the one that the CBN is owing, because CBN is also owing people money. You get it? They are owing people money. People they went and borrowed 7.6 billion naira, 7.6 billion to cater for the foreign reserve. So by the time you put the total debt, and again, know that this debt is not just federal government debt; it includes all the state and the FCT. So it's just that the plan have been initiated, so they are just following it. So my one is that, as I said last week, I just hope that after now we won't borrow anymore, because if we keep borrowing or we keep initiating another borrowing plan, it could be a challenge. Remember that last month they borrowed 1.5 billion from World Bank. It's also there. Yes. It's also in the borrowing plan to cushion some effect. So we just hope that after now, by next year, Tinubu government will stop the borrowing, because it's just taking a clue from what the Buhari left in terms of borrowing plan, and that's what it's executing. And again, these are part and parcel of the 2022 budget, because the borrowing plan includes all the budget expenditure for 2022 to 2024. We just hope that all this.
So, in your view, you have the opinion that the president is in the right order.
He's on the right track in the sense that the borrowing plan and the paying back processes are already included in all the budgeting process. In 2022 budget, we've used 6 trillion to pay to service debt. So all have been included. But what I'm trying to point out is that in as much as we have been following this plan, these plans must end by 2024. And after 2024, please, the government should think out of the box.
Now, what would you want the government to do after 2024?
Now, the key point is that they have been thinking about diversifying the economy. They have been able to review the tax process and policy in Nigeria. They also be able to review the fiscal
and expand the tax net.
And expand the tax net. So these are other ways they can generate money. And again, government are also thinking about local investment. I just hope that the Tinubu government can take this initiative very seriously. There's nothing stop government from investing in local businesses, because that is the way to go. All US government, China government, they invest in local business. They are not waiting for loans to be collected. You get it? They invest in their local. They look at good businesses that they can put their money in. Just like when NNPC went and pull about 30% into Dangote refinery. They can look at other businesses. They can also put money, and as they are taking profit, they can also take part of it. Just look at what is happening within this third quarter of the year. All the 5 Taiwan banks in Nigeria, they are declaring excess profits between January and now. Taiwan banks are 5 of them. UBA, Zenith Bank, if you permit me, I know it is not bad for them. UBA, Zenith Bank, GT Bank, First Bank, and Access Bank. If you see what they are declaring as profits.
Thank God you raised the issue up, because yesterday taking a newspaper review, I kept wondering how come these banks, as you call them, keep declaring profits amidst the inflation and stagnation in the economy.
They are doing business. They are doing business from all angles they can make.
But it's
money.
not reflecting on the economy.
It won't reflect because it is a capitalist process of making profit. You get it? Now they are doing business through forex. They are doing business through all the excessive charges they are taking from us in terms of messages and the rest of them. They are also borrowing money to people who are investing in short-term, medium-term businesses that can quickly give them returns with high rates. Now they are giving loans to people at the rate of 35%, 40% interest rate. So what do you expect? And they are not giving the money to any other person. They are giving money to people that can do the business within 30 days. They are putting money in commodity sales, in oil and gas that can quickly give them returns. So those are the areas they are making money from. So what do you expect them to do? They are not even putting money in long-term investment, because Nigerian banks have been able to understand if you put money in long-term investment, it won't give you that yield. Now, another way they are making money, they are also doing business outside Nigeria by investing in bonds outside Nigeria, especially Euro bonds, American bonds, and other continental bonds that can quickly yield interest. They are investing money in securities. Securities that they are buying debt and they are getting return. So those are the means whereby they are making money. But we know that the major area they are making money inside Nigeria is that all those excessive taxes they are making, they are giving to us, all those things, they are making money. And in forex, particularly in Nigeria, the banks are making more money in forex exchange.
Okay. Now you did mention the Dangote refinery. Of course, there's a worrying story in one of the papers this morning that crude shortage delays Dangote refinery. 5 others take off. Lack of supply to Dangote shameful, says federal government. Minister blames low production. Why is that?
I don't
of
think.
Of course, today is November 2nd. Before 2 months ago, Dangote announced that by October it was going to flag up. We are not saying
for me, you should look elsewhere and get its crude. But the problem will be that by the time you want to supply local market, you go to use international price. But his aim is that you can get crude locally. And it's not just Dangote, including 5 other modular refineries. Although now federal government I think the Tinubu government have now been able to realize that, okay, let us give this guy the crude. But the excuse that NNPC is giving is that because of their low production, and that low production is as a result of what oil, not just oil theft. The quota that OPEC is giving their members is affecting their wills to be able to exploit. OPEC have said nobody should exploit more than 1.6 million barrels per day. It's only Saudi Arabia that is challenging that particular angst that no, let us go beyond 1.6 million barrels per day. Let us push it to like 2 million or 2.5.
Obviously, that's why the rate of crude is so high.
It's high, but it has come down to $82 per barrel now. But that December target is still what they are still looking at. So what I would expect Dangote to do, or what federal government can do, is let federal government think in a way that let us put the interests of the general public into perspective. Because the interest of the federal government and NNP is to make more forex by selling internationally. Because we begin to sell to Dangote now, we'll not sell it to him in $9, we'll sell it to him now so that he can crack that price of fuel price in Nigeria. But if we think that that will not be enough because we want to make more money, just like NNLG issue, let us sell it to him in dollar. Then let's use our price modulation to now bring it down, just like what we are doing currently. Because right now, fuel PMS is now.
At least if we produce for us, we are not going to be that takes off the landing cost.
Yes, exactly. It takes off the landing cost, take off other logistic costs. And Dangote is even prepared to even supply because he has over 5,000 tankers ready to do the supply across the country. That's their plan. But his major target is not the Nigerian market. His major target is the West African market. That's what he's looking for. But the crude, where he can quickly get it and access it, is Nigeria. Because if he's accessing it internationally, that means ship will be going up and down, coming in. It's another cause for
add another cause. Okay. So until that is taken care of, Dangote's hands are tied now.
Tied.
It's very, very unfortunate. Now, I want you also to take more shed light on this. Tinubu threatens to sack ministers. Of course, it's not the first time Tinubu is saying that, which is a plus to him, because many people say it's not going to be business as usual for any current administration. Like we saw in the past administration, we saw ministers actually performing. They were in that seat for 8 years, 8 good years, even though they had some hard nothing to show for it. So what is your take on?
For me, it's not the first time we are having ministers signing bond papers or performance index, whatever. I remember Jonathan period, they signed, all of them signed, nothing happened. But for him to make real the threat of sacking anybody that doesn't perform, we need to see a scapegoat first, maybe in the next 4 months.
Okay.
You know, I said it on this platform that you can give them timeline between now and.
He may have given them timeline.
Definitely between now and first quarter of 2023. I want to see evidence performance. And evidence performance is that we have given you 1 billion, and we say you should put this 1 billion into this particular project. And after 4 months, we can't see the money evidently on the project, and we can't see the project even being executed. And this will go more to people who are handling physical projects. Although those who are handling abstract projects will also get to see something about what they are doing, especially those ones that are saying they are
like
doing.
The Minister of Works, Umaya, said that 18.6 trillion naira is required in 4 years to fix roads.
Definitely, that 18 points, if we divide it into 4, into the 4 years, then when we divide the 4 years, we know how much we go to each year. Then if we divide 1 year into 4, we know how much we go
maybe
into
4.3 trillion.
So by the time we divide the 4.3 trillion for 1 year, then we know that each year is 1.01 trillion you need, and we give you that 1.01 trillion.
No, for each year, maybe about 4 points.
Exactly.
It's 18.3.
And so what I'm trying to say, we'll further break it down into each year.
That's what I'm saying. For 4 years, to him, it's 18 points. Maybe in a year,
you
need about 4.5.
Then that 4.5 we divide it into 4: first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, and fourth quarter.
Okay.
And we give you each of the quarter, and we expect you to do something with that money. Even though we didn't give you up to 1 trillion, we give you like 700 billion, and we expect you to do. And we check it after 3 months, nothing to show. That means something is wrong somewhere. And we also let's give you another chance. Second quarter, nothing to show. By the third quarter, we'll take you out. Then those ones that are doing abstract, their agencies or their ministry into abstract development, like Minister of Women Affairs now, they are all just running up.
So how do you rate
that one? We are not expecting you to be doing training up and down, because training have not really yielded anything. Because but the thing is that we know that you in your budget you say you want to build a training center. You give train people,
maybe people in the rural areas,
and you will build training center.
Abstract.
Exactly. So we want to see that training center being built. We want to see it equipped. You get it? Then there are also agencies under your ministry, like Center for Women, whatever. We want to see them doing activity that will have link with women and their development and child. So those are the issues. Then somebody that is in the Ministry of Creativity Industry, like information, what do they call it? Tourism and creativity economy. So we want to see something serious in that area.
Exactly. We have so many tourist sites in the country. So nothing is being done.
Like all the museums around Nigeria. Yes. How far have you gone?
Even some tourist sites, we have Okobosi in some of these states. Tourist sites. How far have you gone in actually breaking in? Because tourism is a high income earner anywhere in the world, but we are not harnessing our own.
Because we are not too serious about it. We don't see them as opportunity to generate funds. We don't see those areas as where we can generate funds. That's why when they talk about diversification of the economy and the government, the last government just focused on agriculture, I say these guys are missing the road. There are other areas you can focus on.
Yes.
But now they are not talking about diversification, they're looking at a general overview of the Nigerian economy. That's why they rename some of the ministries and they look out for opportunity whereby that innovation they are thinking about can come out to help the economy. But going beyond that is to see a link between them and our economic growth. Even though we want to upgrade our economic growth, we must upgrade it in line with the physical transformation of Nigerian people. Because if it is not having any collaboration with what is happening to an individual, that means the thing is not working at all.
Thank you. Another trending developing story is what came out from Rivers over the weekend, and of course the Punch has a full headline story on that. Court stops Fubara's removal. PDP governors consult Wike. And yesterday, like say Nigerians, we are agog that President Tinubu intervened in the face-off between Minister Wike and his protege, Governor of Rivers State, Fubara. What is, and many people, is an issue that many people say that it's too early. That is still morning. How come? What happened?
There's nothing early. There's nothing early.
It's just barely 6 months.
It's, for me, it's not. There's nothing early there. It's politics. Anything can happen. Even the day he was sworn in, a ripples can start the following day. Or maybe he took the oath of office. As he's sitting down on his seat, there's problem. Because it's all about politics. It's all about interest. And just like I was telling,
just about 6 months.
Just like what I was telling our guy, the crew that normally organizes it, and I was like, you are here, you got a job somewhere, and you bring somebody and you tell the person, please, this is how you relate with people working here as I'm leaving. And the person started working and he started relating badly with people that you told him to relate well with. That's what really happened between the governor and the minister, because he was the one that brought him into power, and he must have make arrangement on how he must relate. And the thing went south based on his own personal interest too. You get it? And the former governor was not happy. Although I was not expecting the former governor to react the way he has reacted by threatening with impeachment. Although that is the only language a sitting governor understand. If you threaten them with any other thing, they will not be. But when you tell them we are going to impeach you, definitely they will be afraid. I think that's what brought about the hype of the matter. Whereby maybe assonant went
and the House of Assembly actually went and gave him notice, impeachment notice.
That because that's the only thing that is the only thing that will make him to sit up.
Wike said it's an impeachment is not a coup.
That
is a constitutional matter.
And for them, when it comes to impeachment, according to the state assembly, they can interpret it to mean any grievous.
Of course, Fubara said, "Tell me my offense."
And they said it can become something that you yourself you don't know, and they can turn it around and say, "Okay."
But it's something that I've asked you before. Why this altercation between governor and his deputy, and even a godfather and his godson? Because in this case, it's between a godfather and his godson. What actually is the cause about it? Cause of it? Is it that the godson always because he wants to get to that position, he agrees to every demand of the godfather and say, "Okay, I'm going to do this," and at the end he gets there and he says, "No, these things are unbearable." And why? How can we stop it? Because we had that during it's Uba.
Andy Uba and
Ngige, when he was governor of Anambra State then. And of course, we saw Obasanjo siding Uba that there's agreement is agreement. Nigerians were like,
because it was the one that sponsored the election, was the one that bring him up, was the one that spent everything that needed. But beyond that, for me, I think what normally brings this challenge to our governance or politics because of what the interest of both parties. Now, the current governor has followers who must also partake in the largesse of the state. Now, the person that put you also have people who he believe that may help him to maintain the structure of the state, who must continue
and have a grip on you, the governor.
A case in point is the one between Ambode and Tinubu.
Yes, Tinubu.
The waste management in Lagos is meant for party loyalists in Lagos. The Ambode took it and gave it to contractors. It became a challenge, and the loyalists were like, "So this guy have taken the food out of our mouth." And the people say, "How will you take this? This is what these guys are using to maintain."
But actually, if Nigeria were to move forward, if we are going to run a good system that will bring about dividends of democracy, do you think that it should exist?
It exists across board. It doesn't just exist in Nigeria. Even in US, it exists. It's just that we are not seeing those ones. We are not reading about
But is
them.
it to this dimension that you have to cede the state resources to a godfather because he puts it there?
Not ceding it to the godfather, but the godfather having a say when it comes to how we distribute or disburse these resources. He's not saying don't disburse to your people. But when you are disbursing, remember my own people. That's why when Wiki was talking about pocket, Wiki was talking about the structure that we have built. We don't want it to collapse. When they talk about that, they are not talking about edifice. They are not talking about physical. They are talking about individual that when election come, these are the people that will help them run around the entire geopolitical area of the state to campaign, to do this, to do that. And so how do they feed them? And that's why when somebody was talking about the same crisis, we're talking about, nobody's talking about the figures of unemployment in that state. Nobody's talking about the poverty rate, because we have left all those ones and just concentrate on politics. And when it comes to politics, there's political fund and there's public fund. Now, when public fund is the one that political are understanding or regard as political fund, it becomes a challenge. And that's what is happening in Nigeria, because public fund is not meant to service political fund. But in our own case, public fund is now servicing political fund. So when you talk about a state budgeting 150 billion for a project and nothing happened, you know that the entire money has gone to fund politics. That is just it. And that's what is happening in Nigeria. So when you relate it to what President Tinubu is saying, that if you don't perform, I will sack you. Meaning that if you carry public fund to go and service yourself in your state, in your locality for next election, we'll take you out. And that is as simple.
What is the way forward? Just before we go, because
and the way forward is that let Nigerian politicians have a new orientation that public fund and public governance is for the entire Nigerian, not just for a selected few. Just like somebody is calling for 6 years single term. We know that it is to ensure that power change, and so that one elite group can take power and the next one will come over and take over power. We don't want such in
Nigeria. You are all for 2
years. Let it continue. So that we know that when you perform poorly at the first term, the second term is an opportunity for you. But when you now say, and let's just make it sharp, a quick fix, 6 years, when this elite group finish, another is the opportunity for them, for the team to just be rotating
with no tangible development.
Exactly.
It's always a pleasure to have you on the program.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much, and I look forward to having you same time next week on the program. Well, viewers, we've been talking about some trending stories, developing stories as well on this platform, Inside Nigeria, on Leadership Television. My name is Winifred Gwebo, and until I come your way again, please wishing you a happy, beautiful day. Take care. Bye.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.